सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम। स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री अतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। So after quite some time we are here for the Gita class. Due to summer we had closed, and now that we also have a retreat center, so every now and then I go away. So classes, unless we meet very regularly, it's very difficult to keep that spirit continuity. Still it's okay, let us try. Huh? I don't know how many of you were there in the earlier class. We were discussing chapter 3. So we will continue. So, it's a chapter on Karma Yoga, because now the modern man is largely work oriented. So obviously it's a very relevant chapter for our life. So here Sri Krishna in this beautiful sloka, he says, Sadisham chestate swasya prakritir jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kinkarishyati. See, even a wise person acts in accordance with his nature. All beings follow their nature. What can repression do? Prakritim yanti bhutani. When Prakriti makes you, your nature makes you function in a particular way, what can nigraha, or trying to stop or repress, what can it do? Because however much you try, Prakriti jnanavana, even a person who is enlightened, a person of knowledge also follows his own nature. Now we know, normally, by Prakriti we understand our own nature, which is the result of our prarabdha, our past lives, the impressions we have gathered. So naturally there are good and bad impressions. So it's the samskaras, good samskaras might bring you something good, but the bad samskaras also are very difficult to control. They will make you function in a particular way. So they don't allow you much of a freedom. It's so forceful, so powerful. They make you go in a particular direction. That's why somewhere again Arjuna will also ask, Atakena pariyuktoham papam charati purusha. Why a person, anichannapi varshni baladi vinojita, somebody, why a person, in spite of his efforts, why he is not able to give up, or why is he forcefully made to commit sinful acts like that, he will ask. So, in this he says, even in spite of all the efforts, why is a person, behaving like that? So when you have these both positive and negative impressions carried over from several births and all that, so that's accepted, accordingly you may. But then the question, nigraha kinkarishyati, that raises a lot of questions. Nigraha means, is it infallible? Then does it show a sign of helplessness? Will be completely led by that tendencies only? Here nigraha means, is as what the psychology they call as repression. supposing you have tendency, you cannot just forcefully stop it like that. That's why Sri Ramakrishna always says that give a direction to the mind, mode uski badla. So if it is like that, give it a direction in a different way so that all those get channelized in that direction. So here also, nigraha means don't try to forcefully stop, suppress or do something. That will not work. The mind has to be purified. You have to undergo certain disciplines. And not only that, subsequently you will also say that even when they arise in the beginning itself in the mind, at that point itself there should be an effort to kind of arrest it or give it a drift or a direction. Once you allow that to proceed in the initial stages, then it becomes deep rooted. It forms a kind of a particular tendency or habit. Then it will go in its way only. So for that, one has to develop an extremely alert mind. See, otherwise, the negative things arise in every mind probably, unless one is an extraordinarily evolved saint who has done tremendous amount of sadhana and all that. Generally, these kind of things arise probably in every mind. But then, what is the difference? The moment they arise, if you are alert, then it immediately, oh, the mind, you want to go here, you want to do this. No, I put a stop then and there, not giving it any scope for running away or doing anything. But then, if you are not careful, if you are not alert, then if you allow the mind to drift, in fact, it's not even necessary to physically participate. Even mentally allowing it a free scope, imagination, thinking, participation. See, much of the things are done at the mental level only. Many of the people who have that kind of tendencies, lustful tendencies, evil tendencies, negative tendencies, not that they actually go and kill people or anything like that. Even in the mind, if the mind is given a free play, the mind participates. Then that becomes slowly, that leaves a mark, that leaves a trace. See, just as, there's a very beautiful lawn. If you start walking in the mid of the lawn in a particular way, daily if you follow the same path, after some days a clear pathway is made there. You did not make any effort. You did not take an instrument to dig out grass and all that. Simply you have been walking over the same place, day after day, day after day, day after day, a clean pathway is made. In the same way, in the mind also, if it is given a free rein to imagine things which are not desirable, which are of an evil nature, which are of an immoral nature, whatever it is, then they also cut a path in the mind. So that whenever there is an occasion, immediately it jumps and then it completes the physical part of the act also. So, that's why nigraha means simply don't try to bottle up or anything like that. Then you undertake disciplines, try to control it even when they try to make an appearance in the mind. And then over a period of time, then when you develop that kind of alertness, due to sadhana, due to practice, due to that exercising your higher intellect and all that, then the mind is ever alert. The moment it goes anywhere, immediately, Guru Maharaj gives a beautiful example. When the elephant is going in the street, he suddenly extends his trunk to take the banana or something from garden. Immediately the Mahut hits it with that ankush and immediately it withdraws his trunk. Like that, if the mind is very alert, immediately it puts a break, and then over a period of time, even before it arising, it will get stopped. And then the mind, anything will not arise at all at a much later stage. So this is one kind of this thing. So the other way also it can be explained that normally the tendency is to do these kind of actions and so on, etc., etc. So instead of so a person, because the traditional schools, etc., always say that karma is not good. Karma always brings bondage. Karma always means duality. Karma always has bhokta and karta and all that. So when you want the highest knowledge, namely the knowledge of the non-duality, there cannot be any duality. You must go to a state of complete oneness or unity or non-duality. So they constantly say that all work, all activity, everything has to completely cease, should be completely stopped. Only at that time any higher knowledge is possible. For that, for that tranquility, for the mind to be completely free from any duality, all action has to stop. That we have, maybe you have read, we have heard Sakracharya and others again say in Vikshutamani, in many of the scriptures, in all Upanishads, in all Bhashyas, it is what is emphasized. But then, what is the way? My mind is full of restlessness. It's full of samskaras which are prompting me to act, to function, to accomplish, to participate, to engage. So simply saying, no, I close my eyes and I sit for meditation, no, work is not good. It will not lead you anywhere. The mind will only be constantly wandering. It will not be doing physically, constantly it will be acting mentally. So, absolutely that will not lead you to anywhere. That's what in the Gita it says somewhere, I think in the same chapter it says, Karmendriyani samyamya yayaste manasasparan indriyarthan vimudhatma mityacharasya vachati. It says that simply you close everything. Mentally, physically, your indriyas are all quiet. But what is the idea of such a mind? The mind constantly wanders. It goes here and there. It participates in 1,000 activities. So you are no way you are achieving that unification or oneness or unity or the idea realization to the Atman or Brahman. How it can be done? So unless the mind is really, it attains the state of complete tranquility, calmness, etc., it is not possible to do anything. You cannot go into that state just by imagining. So one should understand what is one's nature. If that is so, that is why Swamiji was very emphatic. That's why he started the Ramakrishna Mission. Even in the lives of monks, monks are supposed to have given up everything completely. So he said there can be a twofold approach. It will bring you your own mukti or moksha, because when you do it intensely, what happens? Why all these things are arising in the mind? All the negativities, the idea of bhoga, these, that, all those desires, everything, it's because of the samskaras. Now how do you burn them? How do you get rid of them? How do you find a solution? So anyway, they find expression through action. So if you are intensely participative in a particular way, it is possible to give a different trip to the mind or turn the mind towards that kind of a state. For that, what you do? You do intense activity. The mind wants activity, or samskaras talk about activity. They are prompting you. You are trying to say, no, I will not do. No, you do. How do you do? Do intensely for the sake of others. Do not aspire anything for yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. In the beginning, one may have desire for name and fame or this and that. But if one persists, one is discerning, one has the ability to discriminate, to find out, then you participate intensely in such action. And then in such a condition, then finally the mind slowly, all those old samskaras, etc., they're all slowly worn off. Then at some point of time, the mind becomes more and more fit for that kind of a deep contemplation. So, the idea of total complete cessation of our activity, which the Shastras call as Naishkarmya, complete cessation of activities or action, it must be achieved as a state of awareness, not physically tying our hand and feet together by ropes and all that. No, it's not that way. So how do you do it? then by that kind of action, whereby when you participate with that kind of an idea, only having the welfare or the goodness of others in view, in such a condition, all your other, the tendency for rajas, tendency for action, tendency for desires, etc., they may be there, but you are not giving them much scope for all them. You keep on allowing them to function in a particular way like that, and slowly you give a direction to the mind, change it, and that is how you can improve thereby the quality of your functioning, quality of your mind, quality of your thinking, all that can be, and then slowly you become prepared, become fit for that kind of a deep contemplation and so on. Then at that time, whatever practices you take up, otherwise, with a completely disturbed mind, the mind which is wanting intense activity, even if you close your eyes, nothing will happen. It's not the number of hours you sit. Anybody can sit. The trees and doors and windows, they're all there, the same place for 100 years. Are they meditating? No. So, closing the eyes or sitting in a posture, there can be a physical exertion, but that will not lead to any tranquility of mind or a higher state of awareness, for which one has to prepare intensely. That's why it says, Prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha king karishyati. You just cannot do like that, because the mind is always craving for participation, craving for action, craving for enjoyment. So if you understand the nature of the mind, how can we give a direction, how to direct it, that's possible. Then clearly he explains why it is so. Indriyasya arte ragadvesho vyavasto tayor navasamagacche tauhasya paripantino. He says it's natural for each organ to feel attraction and aversion in respect of objects pertaining to each sense. So the indriyasyate ragadvesho vyavasti. The attachment or aversion for the indriyas, for the senses, for the objects pertaining to them. The eyes, it has a capacity to see. Some would like to see something, some it does not like to see. Similarly, the ear likes to hear certain things, it does not want to hear certain things. So these are all very natural. It's not something alien or foreign or different. They're all for सबको ऐसे ही होता है. लेकिन see, तयोर्न वसमागच्छेत् तौहस्य परिपन्थिनौ. So it's if you do not come under their sway, tayorna vasamagachet, don't become, just don't give way to them. Then paripanthinau, that is, they are the enemies, they are the enemies of all spiritual aspirants. Supposing, how do we see? It's natural, eyes want something. Whenever you look at something, anything like good, feel like eating it, consuming it. So when you seek an object of enjoyment, feel like enjoying it. All that is happening. But then if you give way to them, there will be no end to our suffering. That's what people do. They fall victim to attraction, wanting to see bad things, wanting to hear bad things like that. So every indriya has attraction and dejection. These are all very natural. But a person who wants to lead a spiritual life should really be able to control them, should be able to really motivate them, which way they can go. It has to be very, very careful about all that. One has to be extremely careful about the nature of the indriyas, where they are leading us. So how to, because it was explained also earlier in the second chapter, Dhyayate Vashyan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pujayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. How it happens? The moment a person thinks about the objects of enjoyment, immediately an attachment grows. See, supposing You never ever think of Rasagulla, mind you. Will you develop an attachment for Rasagulla? Only because first it comes in the mind. Oh, it's like that, it's round, it's white, it is sweet, it's so delicious. So first you think of that. Then the mind catches, oh, now Rasagulla. Then there's a desire, Sangat Sanjayate Kama. From that, a desire for enjoying that Rasagulla comes into the mind. Then the Kamat Krodho Bhujayate. Supposing you are not allowed in your parents or your partner, the house people, or mother or father. No. It's not good. Only yesterday you had, daily you should not take. Then you get angry. Why? I want that. I like Rasagulla. Rasagulla is a small thing, like that every desire. The mind wants hundreds of thousands and millions of desires are there. If it is not satisfied, then it gets angry. Krodhat bhavati sam. Then it leads to delusion. Such a person totally loses any kind of discrimination or any kind of sense of proportion or whatever it is. Then kama krodhat bhavati sammoha spriti vibhramaha. Then there is loss of memory. Completely he loses because what happens, what will happen, what happened earlier, is it necessary to go? All those things completely he loses. Sammoha smiti prasidbramshat buddhinasho buddhinashat prashit. There is completely loses his buddhinasha. What to do, what not to. Goes and buys 4-5 rasagullas and eats, or steals and eats. Then there's either stomach upset or a high sugar or this or that, and then the destruction starts. So that is why. But what is the origin of that? Each organ has its attraction. For example, eyes, because the shape, the color, etc., and the taste, the sweetness. And I've heard that rasagula like that, and there's some sweet smell coming into that. So all that, it's all because of indriyas which have attraction for all this. You have succumbed to that. You have given way. You have fallen under their clutches. That is why they are making you run about like that. So if you are careful, if you don't allow all this to happen like that, then that is how you can really control it. No, I will not have. I have had it. Next for 7 days, no question of rasagula. I won't look at it. What is it? It's dirty. I don't like rasagula. It will only spoil my stomach. I don't want. So like that, even when the desire tries to just arise in the mind, there itself you stop it. There itself you completely put a lid there. No, drive it away at the time. If you keep on thinking, oh, it was so nice, how nice it would be if I had it, or why they are not allowing me, where can I go and have, why not go to the friend's house, why not visit that Bangla sweet stall or somewhere, like that. If you think like that, then again, it gets strengthened, because you have been strengthening it in the mind. Then in the next stage is slowly towards action. So the moment the vritti arises in the mind, even a trace, no, stop it, put a stop there itself. No further thinking about that. That's why it says you should not, because they are all enemies for spiritual aspirants. If you want to lead a great life, if you want to realize who you are, if you want to become a great devotee, a great yogi, a great jnani, or a bhakta, or whatever it is, you have to lead a life of great restraint, a lead of samyama, lead of controled life. These are all against that. Then he says, Shreyan para swadharmo vigunaha paradharma svanishtitat swadharme nidanam shreya paradharmo bhayava. So, see, one's own duty, swadharma, is shreya, is good, even though it is not viguna, means without guna, means it's not maybe very glamorous. What you are doing may not be very good or very glamorous, but still paradharma tu anushtitat, it's good to do the duty. Swadharme nidanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. See, paradharmat tu anushtitat swadharmat vigunaha shreyaha. See, rather than following dharma alien to yourself, it is rather good to follow one's own dharma, because swadharme nidhanam shreyaha paradharmo bhayav. It's better to die doing one's duty rather than follow the duty of another. No, in that, you see here, um, the one has to understand now, in the context of what is being developed, that how to control desires, etc., etc. In that also one has to take a do according to one's tendency, like that. If you follow in the same order what the previous sloka was trying to say, see, the tendencies arise in the mind, it's okay. But because they are not so good, you cannot simply adopt something which is totally alien to you. In that same path, through slowly practicing restraint, etc., one has to overcome, then it is possible. Sometimes, what someone else does look might very attractive. Supposing I am extremely work oriented, I am very energetic, very full of energy, and like to run around and do and things like that. That's my nature. But I don't, because I find that somebody is sitting and that looks very attractive. Oh, he's meditating. We don't know what he's doing. He's closing his eyes and sitting. Whether he's meditating or thinking about any cinema or anything, we don't know. But we think that, oh, he's meditating. I am working. Is bad. Working is bad. Let me go and meditate. That will not help. So, one has to, it's probably that is one's real nature. One has to accordingly, even if it is not looking very glamorous. For example, Sri Krishna was trying to tell Arjuna, you see, as a Kshatriya, or a person born of one's own, because in the previous sloka he was saying that the senses, they are attracted to their objects, it should not come under their sway. But that does not mean that one has to completely given up one's own swadharma, what is one's natural drift, and try to go somewhere else because it says, oh, falling under the sway of the senses is bad, it's bad for us. That's what Arjuna also thought. He thought that this fighting, etc., are all bad. Let me just close my eyes, become a mendicant or a monk, and let me not fight. Why should I do all that? But Sri Krishna says, no, that will not help you. Because after some time, it will all collapse automatically, because that is not your real nature. So one should understand what is one's nature and proceed in that direction accordingly. आपका अपना क्या स्वधर्म है, किस तरह आपका मन चाहता है, वो समझ के धीरे धीरे उस पथ पर आगे जाना, तब आगे आप बढ़ पाएंगे आध्यात्मिक जीवन में. That is because what someone else does looks very attractive. अरे मैं इतना काम दाम में व्यस्त हूँ, वो तो बैठ के हमेशा ध्यान करता है, मैं भी ध्यान करो. No, first of all we don't know what the other person is doing, but what I am doing also, how useful it is. So that is why rather than in one's own line, आपका स्वधर्म की आपका ऐसी करे, आपका स्वधर्म ही आपके आगे ले जाए. Supposing your tendency is to work, your tendency is to be extremely involved in activity. How that activity, how that tendency within you, how that can be refined, उसके में कैसे आपकी सुधार के कैसे करो ताकि वो मेरे आके ले जाएगा. Rather than trying to adopt something which is foreign or alien to me, which is not in line with my own real tendency or nature, rather than that, if my tendency, how I can really refine it? How can I remove it from that, the elements which are harmful? मेरा अच्छा करना, काम करना, दौड़ना इच्छा है, मैं दौड़ के अपना कमाए, अपना भोग, अपना लालच, अपना ये giving full play to my own raga and dvesha, desires and hatreds, and that kind of thing will only ruin you. But my own swadharma, if it is to be involved in activity, how can I really refine it? Give it a beautiful spiritual thrust so that it can take me forward in my journey. Because ultimately, if all our desire, all our this thing is to grow spiritually, how to grow spiritually, if that is the goal of life, that's what it's very necessary to understand the real goal of life, the purpose of life. Otherwise, all these discussions have no meaning. There are millions and billions of people in the world who are extremely busy with eating, sleeping, family, these, that, going, buying, selling, endlessly, day and night. They're extremely busy. Are they all doing any spiritual activity? No. Simply running about here and there meaninglessly, without any purpose, or simply living only at the level of the senses, giving more and more. Not only they are not recognizing, giving full play. If the eyes want this, give it 100 times more. That's what most of the people are doing. That is not the way. But if your goal of life is different, आप अपना जीवन का दूसरी तरह समझ लिया, मेरा क्या करना समझ लिया, देन आपको जो स्वभाव है ऐसे कर्म करने का, व्यस्त रहने का, the tendency to be intensely active, can you give it a beautiful spiritual thrust? How? Yes, in me there is a tremendous tendency to act. What can I do? How it can be done? How can I manifest it? How can I do differently? Then you find out ways and means. Can I do something? Yes, in me there is a tremendous desire. What can I do? What can I do that will give full expression to this tendency? At the same time, will not bind me, will not bring me bondages, will not take me backwards in my spiritual journey. Then you say, yes, I will do such work for the sake of others, for the comfort of others, for the service of others, without doing anything for myself. Then the mind gets more and more clean, more and more clean, more and more purified. Then at one point of time you'll find that completely you can go into deep, that kind of meditation, that kind of, inaction, are completely free from any kind of participation, and you can be deeply immersed in that kind of a state. By the time you would have, because all your tendency to do tremendous activity, etc., would have been exhausted, and you would have really found a new way to live, new way to participate. All that would have happened in one's life. It's possible. So that is what. Otherwise, normally this is explained more like that. Swadharma means according to the caste. Now we are all born as in the Hindu there were all these 4 castes, so they were to each have, according to each caste they have some assigned duties, they have to perform that. That's what is they are given by birth, whatever they have. From that they will perform, they will always their livelihood and all that. But all those things are become kind of irrelevant today. Today no one even knows what is one's caste, or one does not. The society, the classes are no longer divided into castes like that. So now, probably in the current context, the actually Swadharma would mean what would really be according to one's own tendency. मन से मन में मेरा इस तरह जाना इच्छा है, मेरा बहुत ट्रैवल करने का मेरा बहुत स्वभाव है। इन आप विभिन्न जगह पे जहाँ ऐसे कोई पर गरीबों का दोस्त ऐसे कोई किसी को काम करने का मौका मिलता है, हाँ मेरा दौड़ना भागना ट्रैवल करना मेरा बहुत अच्छा लगता है. But I use it this way. I travel wherever there is any appeal, wherever people are inviting, I go here, there, various ashramas, various sangsas, I go and work maybe. So I like to, I tremendous urge to speak. Then you study deeply some scriptures or words of wisdom, etc. Then you speak about that. Instead of speaking useless things, you become a kathakar. You go on doing Ramayana, Mahabharata in a small way, humble way, for 5 people, 10 people, all over everything. So whatever be your tendency, you recognize that, and along with that, slowly if you try to do something, that may be, practically it's not possible. It has to depend, kind of, pick up that which the mind very deeply desires or points out. That will be. Or the other idea may be what has devolved upon oneself as duty. Suppose you are in a फैमिली, एक परिवार में है आपका, उसके अंदर मान लीजिए आप किसी को परिवार में मान लीजिए बाहू है, वाइफ इन a family, daughter-in-law maybe, but then you find the right elders to look after, husband to look after, children to look after, maybe it's a large family, there are others to look after. So constantly people fret and fume, why so much work for me, why I should do, others are not doing this. No, there is this, it has come upon me, ये मेरा भगवान यही दिया मेरे को, इसकी माध्यम में मैं करके people come and ask, Maharaj, I want to meditate, I want to spend time like that, why it is like that, how can I look after so long, this and that. What will you do? Oh, there is a family, there is a brother and a sister, there is a mother. Now normally the mother is supposed to live with the brother and his family, but the brother's wife is so terrible. She would rather kill the mother-in-law rather than serve her. And the brother is so feeble and so useless, he can't talk to anybody at all, he is so weak, so he cannot say anything. So now the whole duty falls upon the sister, and she always frets and fumes, how long can I do like this? I cannot, I thought that I will meditate and spend time happily, and again. I said, if you do like that, you will never be able to meditate. You will always be fretting and fuming. Imagine, this is the duty which God has cast upon you. So imagine the life of Holy Mother. She was virtually a goddess. People have had darshan of her as Kali, as Jagaddatri and all that. And Sri Ramakrishna would not say, has never ever had uttered a harsh word to her. Once mother and Thakur's niece Lakshmi, they used to stay together sometimes in Nahabad. So one day Lakshmi, the mother, came to probably Sri Ramakrishna's room or something. She never used to come. So she thought it is Lakshmi, and because she is small, she knew her as a small girl. She used the word tu bol diya unhone. Bangla mein iska tu hi kaha instead of tumi. Tumi means tum. Tu hi means tu. Are tu kya kar? And suddenly he saw it was mother. And whole night, then he apologized. Whole night he could not sleep. Next morning he went and apologized. Oh no, I by mistake, I did not see you. See, अपना पत्नी का ये शब्द बोलना उनका इतना अनुताप अनुशोचना आया मन में. सो ऐसे परिवार में उन्होंने समय बिताया जब ठाकुर जीवित थे. बहुत काम करते थे, सुबह से रात तक काम से नहीं डरते थे, लेकिन ऐसे कोई पति एक सामान्य शब्द भी नहीं बोलते थे. उनका दूर से देखते थे, नज़दीक कभी नहीं जाते थे, लेकिन ठाकुर भी जानते थे वो स्वयं देवी बेटी भी है, वो माँ सरस्वती है, ज्ञान देने के लिए आई, ऐसे ही बोलते थे उसके बारे में. So in that family, that is how she had spent her younger days. But later on, when she went to Jairambati, morning to night, working. Not only that, surrounded by such horrible brothers, day and night, money, didi, money, kahan paisa. But she, have you ever led in her life one day, 1 second she protested like that? No. She was just here she was happy, there she was equally happy. Because she knew these are all, the world will be like that, external world will be there, it will be full of all that. We should not allow our senses to go and get caught in all that. So like that, if you accept, not only that, that is the most practical way. What else can you do? मैं बोला क्या आपका अपना माँ का क्या खत्म कर दोगे? What do you want to do? Someone has to look after her. Take it that this is what God has ordained for you. उसके अंदर आप करना, क्या करने का क्या दिक्कत, माँ के क्या देना है, कुछ खाने का देना है, कुछ रखने है रख दो, बाकी समय करो ना, जब कौन मना कर रहा है तुम. So always the mind tries to find excuses in various ways. It thinks, oh, this is an obstacle, nothing is an obstacle, our own mind is all obstacle. So Swadharma also is what the duty that is enjoined upon you, whatever has come to you, what God has ordained you, what in a such a way it has come to you, doing that, that is what will really uplift you. क्योंकि कोई ऐसा ऐसा करते रहे अपना ढंग से, and in a very remarkable way, God will intervene. Everything will be done uplifted. श्री महाराष्ट्र में बहुत बड़ी एक संत की बात करते थे, her name was सक्कुबाई. महाराष्ट्र में जो सबसे बड़े पृथ्वी थे मेरे ख्याल से सबसे बड़ा जो समावेश समूह होता है, समागम होता है, जो वर्करी संप्रदाय करके हर साल लाखों कम से कम 2-3 लाख होगा एक जगह से, क्या आलंदी करके मेरे ख्याल से नामदेव व तुकाराम दोनों के अंदर की जन्म स्थान होगा, किसका मालूम नहीं है, वहाँ से पैदल में धीरे धीरे स्टार्ट करते हैं, सारे रास्ता में सब जुड़ जाते हैं, करते करते सब वहाँ पंढरपुर जाके विठल जी के दर्शन करते हैं, सब कीर्तन करते करते आई थिंक 40 दिन 1.5 महीने जो लगता है, पूरा रास्ता में जो सब लोग खिलाते हैं, कहाँ रहते हैं, कहाँ सोते हैं, कुछ भी नहीं है, सिर्फ विठल जी की ऐसे कीर्तन करते करते। तो ये सक्कुबाई का बहुत इच्छा था मैं ऐसे भी जाके पंढरपुर जाऊँ, लेकिन वो तो एक कर्मचारी थी, तो माने बोला तो क्या कुछ जनी जोड़ी चुप रहो। सो ऐसे करके करके एवरी ईयर शी सी द क्राउड्स पासिंग नियर हर हाउस, हर हार्ट विल लॉन्ग बट शी कैन नॉट गो। एक बार ऐसा हुआ बिल्कुल खुद का रोक नहीं पाया, चले गए, सिंपली शी joined, went and went, she sang and sang, she went to भगवान that पंढरपुर में, वहाँ जाके there are 2 versions, some say she simply went and merged with भगवान, और कोई करे नहीं, वहाँ जाके ऐसे ही वो भाव से विभोर हो गए, वहाँ जाके गुजर गए। तो वह वर्करी संप्रदाय से पूरा वापस आया, आके घर आया, मालिक के बोला माँ जी आपका तो सक्कुबाई वहाँ आया था, ऐसे सो नहीं तो सक्कुबाई यहाँ है, कौन बोला गया? इस सारा समय पंडरनाथ जी खुद ही सक्कुबाई होके इन लोग का घर के सारे काम वो इतने दिन वो निभा रहे थे। I don't know where is the evidence, whether there's photograph, whether there's video and all that, we cannot ask, but it's परंपरा में ये हम लोग सुनते हैं। ये क्या है? आप ऐसा होने में it's not that such stories are prevalent in all parts of India. दक्षिण भारत में भी ऐसा है, दूसरी जगह भी है। So you know, आपका अपना ऐसे करते करते ऐसे हो जाएगा। सक्कुबाई तो अपना काम निभा रही थी, करते करते ऐसे कोई समय आया, कोई ही उसका रोक नहीं पाया, एकदम बिल्कुल विभोर होके। इट वॉज नॉट जबरदस्ती, कोई नहीं चले जाऊंगा झगड़ के मालिक से, ना मैं नौकरी छोड़ दे रहा हूँ, ऐसा नहीं है। सिंपली शी वॉज डूइंग, लेकिन यू नो इट बिकेम सो ओवरवेलमिंग एन एक्सपीरियंस, बस सिंपली निकल पड़े। सो दैट्स व्हाट गीता सेज, you don't try to do anything artificially, work according to your swadharma, slowly over a period of time, धीरे धीरे आपका सब कुछ आ जाएगा। ओम शांति शांति शांति, हरि ओम तत्सत। श्री राम कृष्ण अर्पणमस्तु।